Okay guys, so getting an Etsy shop to 100 sales is not something that just happens by accident. And to prove it to you, I've got an Etsy shop to 100 sales in under 3 months, a different Etsy shop to 100 sales in under 4 months, and a third Etsy shop to 100 sales in under 2 months. And so guys, Etsy is an algorithmic marketplace, and there are fundamental things that work on Etsy, and once you understand them, you can make store after store that makes sell after sell time and time again. So welcome to the channel guys, my name's Alfie. I've made some pretty good revenue on Etsy through multiple different shops, and now I just want to help you guys get to 100 sales with some proven advice. So I want to start with actually back engineering the process of how a sale actually works on Etsy, because you need to understand this with crystal clear clarity, because if any part in this process of making a sale is broken, then you guys, unfortunately, will never get to that 100 sales mark. So, of course, firstly, the shopper arrives on Etsy, they type in some keywords for a product that they are looking for, okay? That's number one. The shopper then actually looks down and clicks on a product that they like the look of the most, okay? The shopper then looks through, say, the listing images, they read the listing description, they might even check out your store on Etsy, and if after all of that, the shopper is then confident that, they aren't getting scammed online and they will actually receive a good quality product that they are actually looking for, only then, guys, will the customer actually commit to making the purchase. And so in a nutshell, guys, this is how a conversion event works on Etsy. The conversion being the customer actually buying your product, which is of course what we want. And now that you actually understand the steps in that process, we can actually put a proven strategy in place to get 100 of those conversion events. So let's start with the first step, which is of course getting your products to show up on the customer screens. And so at the start, this is going to boil down a lot to your SEO practices, your niche selection, and of course the actual product that you're going to sell. And then longer term, once you've got a bit more of an established Etsy shop and you're making a few sales, of course, a big driving factor of getting your product in front of customers is going to be that later sales velocity and just general trust with your Etsy shop. And so to actually stand a chance of making 100 sales on Etsy, you first need to either sell a product which is physically unique in nature, or you need to sell a product which is, say, less unique, like a sweatshirt or a hoodie, for example, but you need to put a very unique design on that product. Because, guys, I always like to be realistic, and I always just like to be real with you. If you just go ahead and copy a bestseller product, exactly as they're doing it, or you try and just sell any non-unique physical product, just like this pen, for example, there's nothing unique about this, okay? So that's what I'm saying. Right from the start, you're always going to struggle because you're not putting something out there that's unique enough for customers to buy it in the first place. And now, product research is always very important when it comes to this. And of course, I want you to be looking at products that are actually working on Etsy already, just to get your mind jogged in that direction. But I don't want you to just copy everything straight away. Take two concepts from two different products, say, that are working really well, and then combine them together, and then suddenly you get something new which is based on concepts which are proven to work. In my opinion, especially when starting out, this is always the best strategy to get a high quality unique product to the market which has got some backing behind it. And then of course, once you've got a unique enough product, then comes the SEO side of things. And so this is a prerequisite, I'd say, to ranking on Etsy. I don't think it's as important as, like I said, that product in the first place, the actual product or design, etc., that you're selling, but it's definitely a prerequisite which you have to get right to be eligible to rank high on Etsy. And so the closer that you guys can match the keywords in your SEO to the search query that the customer is typing in on Etsy, then the higher chance you're going to have of your product getting placed in front of that customer for their search query. And so I do recommend, guys, to use some research apps, have a play around, and try and use as many keywords as you can that's got that pretty good low competition to fairly medium to high search volumes, because that's going to help you rank and help you stand out a lot, especially in the early days. And of course, guys, you can also just spy on the keywords that bestsellers are already using. And if you wanted to save time, just copy and paste them straight into your listings, because then at least you're going to be giving yourself a good fighting chance of ranking right from the start. And another thing that some of these apps are really good for is because they can actually just give you some additional keyword inspiration as well, that's kind of in line with what you initially put in that you might not have thought of in the first place. But of course, you can see the competition to the search ratios for those keywords. So yeah, it's just gives you a good little insight into getting your SEO right. And I'll be honest with you guys, you can probably do all of this SEO stuff without research apps. Okay, I always say you don't need them, But if you're serious, I certainly think they give you a massive leg up and definitely help you to save a hell of a lot of time. And guys, if you wanted my recommendation for a research app, obviously, you know, I like to use Everbee. I use them daily. It's the app that I've shown here. I think they're very easy to use, especially for beginners. If you like them, then there is going to be a link in the video description. Feel free to check them out. But like I said, if you're not averse to spending a bit more of your time manually doing your SEO and manually doing all the research, then of course, no problem at all, no worries. But of course, now your products actually stand a good chance of getting seen on Etsy. Now we need to make sure that they stand a good chance of getting clicked on. So guys, I will say this until I'm blue in the face, okay? Getting the click is by far, in my opinion, the most important thing getting you between 0 to 100 sales on Etsy. If nobody clicks on your product, they will never even get the chance to buy your product. And I will have that written on my gravestone because I truly wholeheartedly believe it. And you know, guys, you've probably experienced it if you're a new shop yourself. Etsy will show your products to potential customers at the start, even if your listings say aren't perfect, okay? Like you will get put in front of customers' eyes. So that's why I'm saying that the click is the most important thing, because the click is determined by the actual physical human shopper on the other side of the screen, whereas just putting your product in front of a potential shopper, that's algorithmic and that's based on Etsy, okay? The click is based on the person. And so I say it a million times, guys, you have to prioritize the quality of your images that you are listing your products with on Etsy, okay? Whether this be your photography, whether this be high quality professional mock-ups, you have to get this right. If you're selling print on demand products, invest a little bit of money on mock-ups that you know convert well. I like to go to Etsy and buy my mock-ups for print on demand products. I think a lot of the mock-ups on Etsy are very high quality. They work very well, and I really think they make the world of difference. And guys, remember, we're always the best case studies for this, right? What's the reason that you, yourself, buys products that you like the look of online? I just said it there. It's because you like the look of the product, right? We click and we buy because of pictures, because there's not a lot else to go on. So don't neglect it, guys. The way that you present your products, so crucial. And guys, just another quick little tip here. If you're taking product photography yourself and you're selling physical products, make sure to try and get as much contrast between the physical product and the background as you possibly can. So always put you in the mindset of a shopper which is scrolling fast through Etsy and they're seeing loads of different images. You want your product to be crisp and you want it to stand out, and having that contrast, or say a blurred background, you know, just letting the product really stand out and capture the frame, it's going to help you get that click so much more. And then of course, guys, once we're showing up, once we're getting clicked on, comes the hard bit. And this is actually getting the customer to convert and getting the customer to part with their hard-earned money. And so, like many things in life, guys, this is going to come down mainly to trust. The customer must trust that if they give you their hard-earned money, they will receive in return a high-quality product that looks like the images, that is what they thought they were buying, and is what they actually want, that's going to be delivered in a good time frame. And now, of course, guys, what's the number one way to build trust with potential customers? It's of course reviews. And look, if you're somewhere in between that 0 to 100 sales stage, you're probably not going to have loads of reviews and you probably don't have a lot of sales, okay? So it's going to be hard for you. But this is why I keep saying, guys, just advertise your products wherever you can. Show your products to friends and family as much as possible. You know, the difference between just having 1 or 2 reviews and having 10 reviews is going to be massive to your conversion rate, guys. I promise you. And so if you can get as many of those quick and easy friend and family sales coming in as much as possible at the start, just to get some good reviews and get some trust built with other potential customers, that's going to help you so much in your journey to your first 100 sales. Secondly, guys, another quick and easy one, try and become at least a little bit active in social and community groups that's around where you live, because, you know, people love to support local business, right? I like to support local business. I know my family does. I know a lot of people do. A lot of people out there would rather buy from a local business than a business overseas. It's just the way it is. So, you know, there's no harm in it. You've literally got nothing to lose. Put some posts in social chats, in community groups. Let people know what product it is you're offering. Let them know that, you know, it's a small business that you're running. You just started. Any support is appreciated. Give them a bit of a discount as well. I always say this, even if you just break even for the first 10 to 20 sales, that doesn't matter because you're building social proof, and that should always be the priority. And then, of course, another thing when it comes to trust is your product and your listing needs to answer every possible question that the customer might have about the product they're buying. So do this in your descriptions. Do this in what I like to call the infographics of the product, okay? Show different angles of the product. Show, if you're selling clothing, make sure to add a size guide, for example. A video guide, improve conversion rates even higher. So, make sure the customer knows what they're getting, make sure they know when they're getting it, and make sure that they know the return policies, and just, any questions that they may have, try and answer as best you can in the listing before they even have to think about it. And so with that, now let's actually start to add a bit of strategy into the mix. And so look, when you list a new product on Etsy themselves, they don't have any prior data about the product, okay? So they don't quite know yet where to rank that product in searches. And I think this is pretty well known now. You've probably heard other YouTubers talking about this before. When you list a new product on Etsy, it's gonna get that initial temporary boost, okay? That's gonna put it a little bit higher than maybe some of the competition. This is so that Etsy can test out how customers are reacting to that product and, if customers actually like the product or not. And so we need to be taking as much advantage of these temporary listing boosts as we possibly can. So guys, if you look on your Etsy dashboard and you log in right now and it says under 100 sales, you should be putting out an Etsy listing on a daily basis if you possibly can, at a minimum. Of course, caveat, I know if you're doing handmade products, this is going to be a little bit harder, but still, the more you can maximize this exposure, put new listings out, the better. Because even if you just get a few more clicks to your store, that's a slightly higher chance of them, say, buying something else from your store, or checking out your other products, or even favoriting your store and then coming back to it in a few weeks' time. So yeah, adding frequent products to your store is going to be very crucial. And guys, look, I know sometimes thinking of the idea and adding a new product and thinking of the design and what to sell every day can be a bit challenging sometimes. So if it interests you, I do run an Etsy community. I add in there every single day trending products, trending designs that are selling well on Etsy over the previous few months. I also let you know the SEO for those products as well. So all the SEO is done for you, and in the community as well, there's also all of the courses, all of the guides, and all of the resources that you need to help you along with your journey. So if you wanted to check it out, there's a link in the video description, feel free. It's at a relatively cheap price for the first 100 members. So yeah, if that interests you, feel free to check it out. No pressure if not. But another really good bit of strategy that I do recommend, guys, especially if you're under 100 sales, turn on some low budget Etsy ads. And this doesn't have to break the bank. $2 a day, $3 a day. If you've got a good unique product that's got good images, just putting on a few low budget ads, that is gonna help you get that initial reach. And more than likely, you will get a few sales coming in. And not only that, guys, but low budget Etsy ads, it allows you to unlock some stats which you wouldn't otherwise get. The main one being click-through rates, so CTR, okay? When you're starting out, you could have the exact same product and create a copy of it, and then you could list both of those products on Etsy ads with two different listing images. You can then compare the click-through rates for both of those products. Naturally, one is gonna be higher than the other. This, of course, then is gonna tell you that that image style is gonna be best for your listings going forward, because of course, it's getting more clicks. And then you could just use that style and get more clicks on all of your other listings as well. But guys, look, I say this a million times. Etsy is an algorithm. Once you learn the algorithm and once you know the algorithm, you can literally just make multiple shops and you can get from 0 to 100 sales within a few months very frequently, okay? It doesn't have to be that hard. If you're not at that point now, then there is just some things about the algorithm that you don't quite understand yet. And of course, once you do cross that barrier of learning things properly and getting over 100 sales on Etsy, that's when the snowball really starts to take into effect and you do start finding it a lot easier to make a lot of sales and eventually work up to that full-time income. And guys, look, if you do still think that there are some other aspects that may be holding you back that I haven't mentioned in this video, then I've done a whole nother video on this. I recommend checking it out. It's just over here. I think it could really help you. Otherwise, guys, just want to say, I love you all so much. Thank you so much for your time and watching my videos, and take good care of yourself. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.